Let's show you exactly what it means in terms of the transfer deadlines. Of course, we know that the English Premiership, English Premier League, I should say, has of course closed, but we do have transfer windows still open until midnight tonight in the ABSA Premiership, local, Spanish, La Liga, Italy, Serie A, and of course in Germany. And we know that the Premier League in Portugal closes on the 22nd, but we do know that managers in England aren't exactly happy with the premature closure of their transfer window. If you could just talk us through that.
Yes, afternoon, Sandy, and the viewer at home. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Mauricio Pochettino, Spurs manager, as well as Jurgen Klopp, they are critical of their transfer window closing on the 8th of August, on the eve of the first Premier League match. It's something that they did this season. It was a first because they've been, contemplating to do it the previous seasons, because apparently they said it disrupts the momentum and the teams, and it's chaotic once the season gets underway. They don't want anything to do with the transfers. But seemingly it's not popular with other managers.
So obviously not so popular in terms of football managers having a premature closing of the transfer window. Let's get straight into a big talking point. That would be Neymar Jr. What do we know about him in terms of the latest deal? Because we hear allegations and rumors between PSG back and forth with Barcelona. What is the status of his transfer?
Well, I think, Sandy, at the moment, this deal is off. I will be very, very surprised if maybe by close of the transfer window, midnight today, Neymar signs for Barcelona. I've never seen a transfer, drag so long, the impending transfer of Neymar, trying to force his move back to his former employers, that is Barcelona. So I doubt it will happen. When he left, we all know that he left for 3.6 billion rands. When he joined from Barcelona, that was 2 years ago now, to be exact. And now he wanted to go back to Barca. Apparently, he still has his friends, which is Lionel Messi as well as Luis Suarez, the MSN. He wanted to revive the trident. But now it's not going to happen, because apparently the last offer that Barca put on the table, it was Jean-Claire Todibo, the French young defender, as well as Ivan Rakitic and Ousmane Dembele. But Dembele was going to be a loan deal, and they were going to pay over 130 million euros. So you can see, just to get Neymar back. But now it's not happening, because apparently Dembele said no, he is not willing to leave Barca for PSG. Even if it's a loan deal, he wants to stay at Barca. I will be very surprised if this deal happens. By the way, Neymar is with the Brazil national team now because this is the international week.
And just in terms of Percy Tau, we know he's had some great seasons in terms of the PSL. He's been, named Player of the Season in the Belgian second division. Just in terms of his impact, in terms of the club where he's at right now, where he's been, came from the MDC, how would you talk our viewers through that?
I think Percy Tau, I see him is going to have a very, very good season at Club Brugge. Why I'm saying that, it's because it's a club that likes to unleash raw talent, players from different parts of the world. Because right now they've just lost one another centre forward from Brazil, Wesley. He's playing for Aston Villa. He just scored the other weekend or the other day. So now Percy Tau has already scored on debut against St. Truden in that 6-0 drubbing. And also, I think he is going to be a star in the UEFA Champions League. Yes, it's a tricky group that they are in against Real Madrid as well as PSG, but I expect big things from Percy Tau, because he likes to run at defenders, and he's going to thrive at Club Brugge.
Now, obviously, he'll be playing in the Champions League. Of course, that's very good in terms of South African football getting exposure at the highest level. Let's speak about a player you'll be very excited about as a Barcelona fan. That would be Antoine Griezmann. He's won a World Cup for France. We know he's played for Atleti. Is this a good signing in terms of Barcelona? Do they actually need him? And for the player himself, is it good going to Barca?
Well, I think for him, it's good going to Barca, but for Barca as well, it's good to have a player like Antoine Griezmann. He's not a typical Barca player in terms of him working very hard, because we know Barca players to be technical players and talented players, skillful players, so to speak. But with Griezmann, you get maybe a hard worker. And judging by the 3 matches, he has had a quiet match against Osasuna in Pamplona this past weekend. His first match was the one to forget at San Mamés, that 1-0 defeat to Athletic Bilbao. but he had a good game when they thumped Real Betis 5-2. He scored a brace. It was his home debut at the Camp Nou. So I'm expecting him to try. It's work in progress because the way Barca play, it's totally different to what he is used to at Real Sociedad as well as at Atletico Madrid. His stats, by the way, are very good because he scores over 90. He has scored over 90 goals for both Real Sociedad and Atletico Madrid in over 180 matches. So you can see in both clubs that he was very, very prolific in front of goals. And Barca, they expect him to do the same.
100%. That is, of course, Sandile Mchunu breaking down the latest in terms of your transfers, both here in South Africa and, of course, across the globe. Now, we know that the transfer deadline does close at midnight tonight, Michelle, so clubs will be trying to sneak in extra players as soon as they can and just take them and try and get those deals over the line. But we will be back at 3 o'clock with more in terms of this transfer deadline.